Deepti Kadron joins me on the set for a look through the papers today. Hi, Deepti.
Hi, Jeannie.
Donald Trump's July 4th military parade is dominating the opinion pages.
That's right. For the first time, Donald Trump is planning a military parade complete with tanks, flyovers, fireworks, and a speech, much in the same vein as the French military parade on July the 14th. Military chiefs have expressed concern over what they call the politicization of the U.S. military. For this cartoonist, Steve Breen, Trump is flexing his power to make up for his shortcomings, you might say, whereas regular guys might overcompensate by buying a monster truck. A president overcompensates by sending in a tank. Meanwhile, a writer for the Washington Post says Trump is trying to turn what should be a celebration of America's independence into a celebration of himself, noting that a desire to be the center of attention has been his life passion, really. It's why he ran for president, not because he thought he could win, but just because he wanted to see himself in the media. But ironically, the more he strives to stay in the limelight, the more likely it is that he will lose it.
Now, some papers are using America's Independence Day to actually take stock of the situation in the U.S.
And the New York Times has actually written a really interesting article about that. It's an editorial where they talk about the contrasts of America. So America in 2019 is a nation that locks up migrant children after separating them from their families. But America is also a country that gives sanctuary and charity to people seeking to join a community founded by immigrants. We've heard a lot about the atrocities in the detention camps, but there have been stories also about the deluge of donations, diapers, toys, wipes, for the kids locked up in those border camps. So contradictions that make up America, that have persisted in America for a long time. But admittedly, this year, these contradictions seem particularly acute.
Deepti, let's go now to India, where Rahul Gandhi, the prime ministerial candidate and the leader of the opposition, has resigned.
That's right. Rahul Gandhi, the grandson of Indira Gandhi and leader of the Indian National Congress Party, has resigned after the party's drubbing in May's election results. In an open letter, he accepted responsibility for the election loss and is resigning so the party can regroup and take a new direction, the Hindu says. The Times of India has actually published a part of his 4-page letter on its front page, and the editors today are urging the Congress Party to use this occasion to, quote, put party over family and empower a new non-Gandhi chief who can prepare them for the next election in 2024.
Now, the French paper La Croix is looking at something a little bit different today. It's about the surprising benefits that climate change has actually brought to Greenland.
That's right. It's surprising. I guess we can say benefits very lightly because it is still climate change. But basically, La Croix has sent one of their reporters to Nuuk in southeast Greenland, and they're basically looking at how the economy is flourishing because of the byproducts of climate change. So the melting of ice, the warming of sea temperatures has, for instance, brought a lot of fish into the water. So fishing has now become a primary source of income over hunting. In the last decade, more and more fish, very diverse, mackerel, cod, tuna, have all sort of been coming up into the ocean around Greenland. The weather, the more clement weather means there's greener pastures. They're actually able to grow some of their own vegetables now, so they don't have to import as much. This year alone, fish exports, for instance, accounted for 92% of the revenue. Greenland residents are therefore becoming richer, but one local figure has said it's all very temporary. What happens when all this fish stock disappears?
Now, a French magazine, Paris Match, has become the derision of Twitter users over its latest cover.
That's right. I don't know if you've seen the cover, Jeannie. So it's got Nicolas Sarkozy and Carla Bruni on the front page. And as you'll see, Sarkozy is portrayed as, I guess you could say towering over his wife, holding her in this comforting embrace to protect her. Anyway, it's left a lot of people rolling their eyes because the main problem is Sarkozy is notoriously short. He comes in at about 1.66 meters. Carla Bruni comes in at about 1.75. So this picture does not reflect that. So the snickering has begun on Twitter. This user here wondering if Paris Match had actually dug a hole and put Carla in it so that she could appear shorter than her husband. Another user has an explanation. Paris Match must have used elevated shoes and a ladder for Nicolas Sarkozy.
Or maybe he's just standing on a stair.
Maybe.
All right. Let's wrap up now. The Women's World Cup, we're talking a lot about it. The final's coming up on Sunday, but it's not the only World Cup that's being held at the moment.
That's right. The World Cup of sheep shearing is taking place in a central French town called Le Dorat. There'll be over 300 competitors from 34 countries with around 50,000 people expected to flock to the championship, Jeannie. By sheer will, France is hoping to unseat the favorites, New Zealand and South Africa, who won last time in 2017. The skills of sheep shearers will be put to good use as they're judged in 3 categories: machine shearing, hand shearing, and wool sorting.
Didn't know that was a thing. Dipti, thank you for that. Dipti Galeron with that look at the papers today. Don't forget, you can always get a second look if you like on our website. That address, france24.com.